Welcome back to Entrepreneur Country TV, edition 25, 6 months already. We had a very successful David and Goliath Must Dance lunch last week with very senior executives from the shipping, cargo, maritime industry, such as Fleming Jacobs, a former executive at Maersk, and a number of digital Davids who were there. They'll be here with us this morning talking about how they're reimagining their industry as an ecosystem.
I started as 16 years old as an apprentice in a shipping company in Denmark called Maersk, and I was there for 39 years and ended up as a partner. Part of my responsibility during that time was to particularly focus on developing Maersk into the container transportation part, and through that, the link into logistics. And I was fortunate to be part of building that up from scratch to be number one in the world.
We conventionally started as a sort of map publishing business, and now we migrated into the digital online mapping world, focusing predominantly around different types of road users. So we focus on motorbikes, disabled drivers, and then the freight logistics space. So freight logistics space sort of really took off. We secured the contract for the Olympics to do all the management of the routing and the complex routing for that. We run the Transfer for London Freight Journey Planner, and we also won an accelerator called Last Mile Labs, which is run by DPD, and that was basically giving us a contract, some investment, and the opportunity to really exploit our technology into a parcels delivery company on a global basis.
Books actually started in 2010, and basically at that point it was a group of hauliers joining together to create a new network, and they needed an IT infrastructure. And along the way, the company and the owners found that the technology is more interesting than trying to create a new network. We do IT solution for haulage industry, where we basically digitalize the analog part of that industry and make them not only compatible but actually matchable and findable and searchable.
Every physical thing around you would probably have been through a warehouse at some point in its life. And the analysts, the people from the companies that you would have heard of, the CBRE, Jones Lang LaSalle, that sort of people, only concentrate on the huge big box logistics market. But that's just a tiny tip of an unseen, unserved market. And my idea is really to use technology to link all those people together and provide a modern cloud-based system that they can all use and benefit from, which is a marketplace for warehouse operators to trade spare capacity.
When I started with the container shipping, the ship that we built 9 of them at the time when we started, could carry 1,800 containers. That was big. Today, the ships can carry 18,000 containers. So just keeping track of all that is a mega thing. Just stowing it on board a ship is a mega thing.
Logistics is a very rigid, by design type world where there's big enterprise software and systems that aren't particularly progressive, and they are going to have to quickly evolve to become more flexible as the consumer demands force them to be as such.
Where I think that a lot more can be done, that's actually making use of data and understanding that the transportation system is part of the ecosystem. We all depend on this, one way or the other.
People like innovative big corporates are starting to understand how to play with smaller companies like ourselves.
It's very important that David and Goliath meet, because not having to fulfill the policies in large organizations and the possibility of actually being a rebel sort of provides the possibility of actually seeing small things that make a difference in the business, digitalizing that part and adapting that to the large companies will actually benefit them.
When you are with Julie, as I am, on the board in Vestergaard, then you always get inspired by her and her enthusiasm and the development, and never sitting still, I thought that I worked hard. I've met my match as far as that is concerned. And we have often discussed, why is it that transportation and logistics and so on seem to be not buzzing with the same excitement as many other parts amongst entrepreneurs. So when Julie said, can you join and can we discuss what you see of opportunities, then of course.
We're less than 8 days away from the Entrepreneur Country Forum on the 19th of April here in London at the Royal Institute of Great Britain. And as you know, we're focused on the smart home at the Entrepreneur Country Forum. Not exclusively, but we are bringing to a culmination the Build a Country Challenge focused on the smart home with the announcement of the winner of the competition. And we'll be taking forward that smart home ecosystem with the launch of our digital platform at the event. Now, we have some tremendous partners that are showcased here for you on the screen. And those partners will participate in the ongoing build of that ecosystem. In just a moment, Kenny Leach, the Global Telematics Director of RSA, one of our partners, will be speaking to you here on Entrepreneur Country TV. But one of the big challenges of the industry is the dichotomy between building platforms and building ecosystems. And in the notes to Entrepreneur Country this week, I reference an article that was published in Fortune, which if you're following me on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, you saw that I commented on this past week. Ecosystems are messy. They're not organized. They're marketplaces where people are jostling around for market dominance. They're finding their natural allies. They're finding ways to organize economics for the emergence of the winners of those ecosystems. And what the Fortune article so clearly articulates is that the venture industry and even companies like Nest, which were acquired by Google for $3.2 billion in 2014, have been focused primarily on building platforms. It's easy to always just focus on your own game. But the winners in this digital age are forced to step back and to ask themselves a very basic question. How should this industry work? In whose interest is it for us to do the following? And those companies that follow that challenge and work to create models of sustainable long-term economics will be the leaders of the smart home ecosystem.
I'm an actuary by profession, so numbers and risk. I've always been in insurance, 22 years with Aviva and legacy companies of Aviva. So I was actually part of a company that got taken over by Aviva. And then latterly, the last 7 years or so with RSA, Royal Sun Alliance Insurance. My job title is Global Telematics Director, but actually it's a little bit broader than that. So I head up what we do around what I would call technology-enabled propositions. In a home insurance environment, buildings and contents, then theft, fire and escape of water claims are about 50% of what we pay out. And they're all areas where we think there's technology available or becoming available that we could potentially package and harness to stop some claim events happening, or alternatively, if they do happen, intervene much more quickly so they're less severe. Connected home, smart home is happening. People are buying devices. It's happening and it will happen. The question for us is, can we harness it for insurance purposes to try and create something that would be economic for us, that customers would love to buy? To be great in that sort of data and technology space, we have to be great at doing a bunch of things that we've never done before and we're not very good at. Going down the route of trying to be great at those things, in my opinion, is a waste of time. Going down the route of trying to be world-class at partnering and finding the right people to work with to bring stuff to market, we think is absolutely the way to go. So being involved with Julie and the team in the Entrepreneur Country Forum is just ideal for us, because it will just give us a great sweep of the market to understand what's out there, who's doing what, so we can hopefully take some steps forward and bring some new and exciting products to market.
A Imagine if you could declare and pay your tax in under 10 minutes, if you could vote online. These are some of the features of Estonia's release of country as a software service. Now, we're fascinated by that in Entrepreneur Country because, of course, philosophically, we're on the same page with the announcement of citizenship and empowering individuals to govern themselves. The benefit of doing all of these governmental services more efficiently by using digital means reduces the cost of governing, means that the necessary collectivization can actually be done in a very cost-efficient way, bringing it back to the individual to comply, to be held accountable. Well done to Estonia for a global first, announcing country as a service software. So that brings us to the end of Entrepreneur Country TV. Thanks for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you at the Entrepreneur Country Forum next week.